Hi. How's everybody doing? Are we having a lovely weekend? Here, it's pouring out. I don't know if you can hear it. I don't think you could see it. No, I didn't think so. Maybe. Anyways, it makes a certain relaxing ambiance. And, well, it's Sunday. And what do I like doing on Sunday? Spending time in the kitchen, of course. And just chilling, relaxing. I got another shirt on. I know you asked me if I would make a video on my shirt collection. One day I will. I think I already made one a long time ago when I started collecting these. But I don't think I have it anymore. I think I deleted it. Anyway, just the same, I'm making my sandwiches again for the week. I like to have my lunches prepared in advance. Got some submarine buns here. No, yeah. You figure, you buy, what is it, 10 inch? 10 inch? They don't say 10 inch? I'm not going to get a measuring a ruler to find out, but I'd say that's a good 10 inch. You get one of these at Subway, and if you buy that every day, it ends up quite expensive at the end of the week. But basically, I'm just rambling away while I make my sandwiches. And I don't normally eat a whole one like this. That's a lot, especially if I've got other things too. Like, I like packing some celery. I always enjoy having the veggies. I'm gonna get myself some celery. And I also have some radishes. That's how you tell if they're good or not. You tap them. Nice and crisp. It's not true. Yeah. Well, in a sense, it does tell you something. Okay, I'm going to get to work here on the sandwiches. But at the same time, as I'm making the sandwiches here, I'm thinking to tell you a little story. Yeah. And, I've told you a lot of, my growing up and my life as an adventurer, but I never actually told you of the relaxing times, you know, like today, like on a Sunday, what I would do, you know, growing up. When I got to be, I would say in my 20s, you know, that was the age when I started to decide, in a sense, which way I was going with my life. You know, I would say the 20s are a point in life that's a little bit difficult because you're not quite sure of which way you're going, you know, unless, of course, you have your career set up, you know what you want to do, what job you want to do, stuff like that, you know. But as for me, you know, myself, I wasn't quite sure because, like I've mentioned, after, you know, selling the farm and trying various jobs after that, I tried working in an auto body shop, which I was taking night courses to learn about that. But like I've said before, I also was an artist. And when I found out that my studio wasn't paying enough, I went to work for this garage. And then after that, I went and worked for a landscaper. Well, the landscaper, I think, was just before, because I had the farm experience. So I went to work for a landscaper. And during the winter months, I would work for the garbage truck. Or opening, shoveling snow. One or the other. But then the summer came. And like I said, I went to work for the garage, the auto body shop, which was pretty handy because it was just next door from where I lived. And at that time, I had fixed myself, I was living with my mom, and I had fixed myself a room in the basement. I built myself, well, the basement wasn't totally finished, but I made myself a room in the basement. So I had my own quarters. I even had my own little kitchen, everything, all set up. So the work was doing okay, and sometimes, like, the way I would like to relax is after a hard day's work. You know, I would join the family because we had a sort of ritual. We would all join by the side of the pool where we had a little area. Because, of course, Mom, she had a dug-in pool. And boy, in the summer, we liked that. So when it was hot out, we would go take a dip in the pool, but then we would have our little relax time, you know. And we would all join up and have the barbecue going and having a few beers and talking about our day, how it went. I would say that was probably one of the most relaxing periods of times, unless, of course, we started to get into an argument or something. But we had spent a lot of time together. And my father used to live in Montreal, you know, and we lived towards Sherbrooke. And then he retired, and he was alone. So I don't know exactly how it happened, but he decided, well, he asked Mom, his ex, if she wouldn't mind having a talk with him. So they got together, they had a little talk, and they became friends again. So Mom said, well, you can move in with me. So now he was living with us, and of course he had his own room too. And said, okay, well, he was a big help too, because then, you know, he was retired, he had time, Mom wasn't alone, he wasn't alone, and at the same time, if I had certain jobs that needed to be done, that I wouldn't say no to an extra hand, you know. He would help us out. Like whether it was bringing in firewood or even in the winter shoveling, it was handy, very handy and nice. And then, you know, like I said, we would have our little relaxed times by the pool. Sometimes we were naughty and we would be cheeky. Like this one time, okay? I'll tell you what happened. And Mom, sometimes would get pissed off what we were doing. What we did, you see, I had the brother-in-law, and as we were doing our little family get-together, you know, we would say, okay, if he wanted a beer, you had to go get one. And we had a case of 2 for. And where do you think we put the case of 2 for? We put it at the bottom of the pool, in the deep end. And he didn't like water. He didn't like going in the pool when it was hot. So he said, if you want a beer, you gotta go to the bottom of the pool and go get one. He tried everything to con us, you know, to say, you know, go get me a beer. No. We would dive in, you know, sisters, brother, and all that. Even Dad, because Dad was a great swimmer. Mom too, of course, she's a great swimmer. So everybody was diving in the pool if they wanted a beer, except for the brother-in-law. Well, I'll tell you, after an hour had passed, he finally got the courage to go, because he was trying everything. He was trying to fish a beer out. He tried with the net, you know, to clean the pool. Nothing was working. So he finally, all dressed, fully clothed, decided, well, he went down, walked down to the deep end, nice and casual, went, got a beer, and came back out. Well, to that day, we laughed. You see, if we wanted to get the brother-in-law into the water, we knew how to do it. Putting the beer at the bottom of the boom. But we had to stop the shenanigan. We had to stop it. You know, because Mom wasn't happy. You know, and she was the boss. So, just to say, yes, sometimes we were naughty. Can't always be good. And believe me, I got a lot of stories when weren't so good. That'll be for another time, I guess. And I've got a soup in the fridge, ready to go. I've got my little mini yogurts and veggies. And talking about being bad, you know, I'm always promoting good health and good things to eat. Stuff like my chicken sandwiches and my veggies. But sometimes I like to be bad, you know. Like I've shown you my role play, my maple syrup. And I love putting that in my coffee in the morning. You know, putting some maple syrup in my coffee. But also, I get these muffins. Because sometimes I don't want to cook. You know, I'm busy or something, or I don't have time to cook dessert. So I get these muffins. These are very metally muffins. And I get these. I've got some dessert when I want to be really bad. You know, I get something really yummy, like these glazed donuts. These maple glazed donuts. These are really bad, but they're so good. Yeah. But when you're packing these for a lunch, like if I'm eating at home, okay, and now that I'm semi-retired, the work I do, if I'm doing any work or whatever, like I won't eat these if I'm out of the house, you know, like at a friend's place or doing some voluntary work or whatever. You know, I'll bring the muffins instead because they're not as messy, or I'll bring a rag. But just to say, sometimes, yes, I can be naughty. And now I'm going to make myself my sandwich with my soup. I'm going to let you go on that. I'll be back again sometime with another story. Maybe something on the line of an adventure. Who knows? But I've got another role play too coming. And maybe then I'll make my shirt collection video. I'm trying to get more shirts, but my source, like where I get them at the thrift store, you know, that's where they have the best collections. They closed. So now I've got to find another store. Yeah. Oh, we'll see. Anyways. You take care. We love you. And be catching you on our next adventure. And for the sound quality, I put the mic higher so I don't get that boom boom sound, you know, from when I'm tapping the counter or whatever. So I'm going to see how that goes. You can tell me in the comments if it's better or worse. Take care. Bye for now. Bye. Sandwiches. Lovely sandwiches. For some. Some. There we go. We're at the light. Sandwiches.